Welcome back to the Tydarium Hangar. This is Mike, and today I want to talk to you about third-party Masterpiece Transformer companies that are getting tired of making Masterpiece Transformers. For whatever reasons, they are not putting out new figures, they're not meeting all of their commitments, and with that, that leaves an opening for new companies that are hungry for it, that want to put out some figures. So I'm going to talk about all those new companies coming up. So before I get into talking about all these new companies and what they're putting out and the potential that they have, I want to talk about some of the old ones. Two major players are Bad Cube and Make Toys. So looking at Bad Cube, we do know I've made a video about them and do they have a pulse and are they putting out any figures. Problem is they have one figure on the way. They're still in the works, but it seems like they lose interest. And at the end, I'm going to tell you the big catalyst that makes these companies lose interest, in my opinion. But looking at this, they have some great figures. They could just make so much money reissuing these same figures over and over and over. Just once a year, hey, let's do another run of each of these figures, and they will continue to make money. But I really think the people that make this, people at Bad Cube and the people that make toys, they do it for more than just the money. They do it because they love what they do. They want to put out excellent products, and they more or less do it for themselves. Both of those companies do it as a side hustle. It's more or less their side hustle. It's not their main gig. It's not the main thing that they do. But we know with Make Toys, they're going to be putting out their downbeat. And this leads to a point I have at the end. So let's get into these new companies. First one on my list is Iron Trans, and I'm really looking forward to getting this figure without having it in hand. I can't speak about how well it's made and all of this, but I've watched a couple of reviews because I'm really anticipating and looking forward to it. And as it's in the mail to me and ready to arrive, I am excited for it. I think it looks beautiful. It's a great looking figure. Even though I don't specifically care for the character that much, I think this looks that good. It's going to be very impressive on the shelf, and it's going to blend right in with, say, Fans Toys and MMC and X-Transbots and all those great looking figures on the shelf. Iron Trans also made a good set of the Dotson brothers, and these figures look good. I think it's a good looking set. I don't think they're good enough to upscale to Masterpiece, but I do think they have potential. And I think this company has potential. They have G1 characters in their sights. Hopefully they do put a G1 character out soon. And yes, I know Star Saber is considered G1 in the Japanese continuum. So, I mean, we're not going into that. But I'm saying, what else could they put out? Could they fill the gap of some Bad Cube or Make Toys? Yes, they could. So the next company I want to talk about is Transcraft. Now, I don't think their Bumblebee's released yet. That's not out yet. But I haven't pre-ordered any of these movie Bumblebees yet. And if I do end up getting one, I probably will pick the one that everyone says is the best. I don't know. But it does look like it's going to be pretty solid. Pretty good looking figure. I know they have this Mohican figure out there too. And with that, it looks like they're going to be sticking with more or less the Bumblebee movie continuum. Now, there's a lot of great designs in the Bumblebee movie, and so with that, that's great. I really would like to see them take a stab at a G1 character, but I know not everybody's in on G1, and the market's starting to shift away from G1 a bit, but I would like to see what they could do. The next company that's new to the game, and I think has a ridiculous amount of potential, is Lemon Tree. Now, Lemon Tree, a lot of people are thinking it's related to another company. Of course it is. All of these companies have some sort of tie to something somewhere. It's not like somebody just said, hey, I'm going to start making Transformers on a production scale. They have to know someone or somehow get involved in the business. So yes, they're affiliated with someone. I don't know who just yet. But the thing is, this Shockwave was the first thing, the purple potato or whatever, that they started talking about and showing off that caught my eye. And I think it looks really good. In fact, it has a premium look to it. But the thing is, the way it looks, I would think it'd have some die casts in it, but it doesn't. Now, I can tell you right now, this thing will probably look the best next to, say, HasLab, Unicron, flying through space there. It's going to be Masterpiece scale. So it's going to be 8.66 inches. It's awesome looking. The more I see of this, the more I like it. At first, I was a little like, I don't know, but I think it looks amazing. They're also putting out a lot of pictures of figures that look like they're going to be really awesome, part of the Bumblebee movie line. Now, here's the thing. Their Masterpiece Shockwave is Masterpiece scale. but all of their Bumblebee movie stuff is on chug scale, like 6 inches, 5.5 inches, 6.5 inches. So their prime isn't even 7 inches tall. The prime is actually, if everything's right, shorter than the Optimus Prime you get in the main line with Hasbro. So looking at it, it's going to be a bunch of small figures for the Bumblebee line. But for the Masterpiece line, they're going G1-esque. And I wonder how G1 they'll go. So the biggest 2018 underdog was Transform Element. And I have to admit, I thought that this was going to be a throwaway Optimus Prime and that it wasn't going to be very good. And maybe I'd catch it on clearance for $50. Now, I'm excited that I didn't wait and I got one, but it doesn't really matter. They reissue it every 6 months, so it's no big deal. You can get version 4 coming right now for pre-order at Show Z right now. But the thing about it is that this company showed a lot of promise. It got me excited about it. They have coming up a Mirage, and it looks good. In fact, a lot of people, not just myself, are excited about this Mirage. And as you can see in the background, they also have Beast Wars, and they're doing something different. They're doing Beast Wars as Legends, but they're doing them as Legends that are actually how they would truly scale to the G1 Masterpiece world. So it all is like one big world that intermingles together, and it sort of makes sense. So that's what the Legends Beast Wars is all about. Problem with Transform Element is they seem to just be putting out the same mold in different colors. Yes, their Prime was good, but is it this good? I mean, come on. This is crazy. Within less than 2 years, 6 different versions of their Optimus Prime are coming out. They could focus on some other projects, get other figures out, but they're going to milk this mold. I mean, Prime is Prime. Prime sells. How many of these are sold out? But still, I'd like to see some new figures, new characters, and are they just a one-hit wonder? And they're just going to keep going with it. Are they toy worlding this Prime mold? Next up, we have Rising Force, which is another competitor to make a Masterpiece Minosaur. And it's hopefully the budget one. But here's the thing. I don't really have new information on it, but the information sort of rumor circle is that this is a one-man job. This is one dude working on this, and it's going to take forever, as opposed to a group of people working on it. That's the rumor that I'm hearing, which is why this is taking infinitely longer than any of the other Minosaur sets, which we haven't even seen one figure come out. But they're still, you can pre-order them, so that's a thing. And if it is a budget set, once we find out price, we'll know. I would get behind it, even though I'm in on 3 other sets. I never wanted to even do a second set of Minosaur, but anyway, I might try it out just to see if it's a budget set. If it's going to be $100 a figure or $75 a figure, I don't know, $50 a figure, I'm in. So, who knows? But it is Masterpiece scale. They do look okay, and then I'd like to see what they could do after that. Next up, you don't really think so much about Zeta being a relatively new company, but they are relatively new because they split off from Toy World. So, they really are old, but they're new again. Here's the problem with Zeta, and what holds Zeta back is the fact that they keep clinging to these old Toy World designs and reissuing them. Now, the two I'm putting up here, this reissue of Toy World's Legend Scale Fortress Maximus and their Devil Star, Evil Star, their Astro Train, are not bad ideas. First off, the 4MAX will sell like crazy. Astro Train is an affordable option for people. I have to admit, I didn't see the connection right away that it was Toy World's Evil Star, Devil Star, depending on the recolor of Toy World. I didn't see it right away. I should have seen that first thing and said, yep, but I missed that point. But still, I did want to pick one of those up, and for the $75 price point instead of $120 or $130 that Toy World was trying to get years ago, I mean, it's a pretty budget option during a time when figures are going through the roof price-wise. But again, Zeta's starting to go down the route where they're not keeping their promises, or their reveals just seem to get abandoned. I was wondering what was going to happen with this whole Predaking that they were talking about, and see no progress on that. Same thing with their Raiden project, and no progress on that, except for one picture which is still being debated and argued if it's really Zeta or not, but, you know, I guess we'll say it's Zeta, although it doesn't look anything like the preview picture. It's way shorter than anything else they've made, in, well, it's not shorter than Unicron. It's the same size as Unicron, but it's shorter than their other combiners. So, there's this thing. And there's a company, Blue Lobster, that's making a shampoo bottle, or they already made this actually, a shampoo bottle of Autobot X. I did get them, $40. I mean, it's cool. It looks good on a shelf, non-transformable. I mean, that's the trend we're going now, right? Non-transformable. X-Transbots has a version of this coming. I was really hoping this Blue Lobster would say, okay, we put this out, it could fund us doing something else. Maybe we could get into a transforming Transformer. Maybe we could get into making a line of non-transforming Masterpiece Transformers that just looked really good and put them all out at the $40 price point scale. Maybe we could do an RC, something like that, but they've done nothing. And they're still very, very new. At least reveal if you're working on something else. One of my favorite new companies is this Zhangzing, I keep saying it wrong. I don't care. JX is where I'm going to be. This Winged Dragon, Metal Beast 01, is a beautiful figure in both modes. I love this thing. I have it. I'm not a huge Beast Wars fan, but I have a nice little Beast Wars shelf going, a very small one. And it's very small. It barely fits this guy. But I would buy anything from this company that they made G1 that looks this good. It's just beautiful paint, reflective metallic. You got to be careful about the chipping, but it looks amazing. This figure definitely is a focal point of that shelf. And it looks like they're going to be focusing almost entirely on Beast Wars. No G1 coming from them. Same thing with the Trans Art, with the Skateboard Gorilla and their Transmutate figure, which I have their Transmutate figure. I like it. It is, again, it doesn't transform. Neither did Transmutate back in the day. It was like a Build-A-Figure in the Beast Wars era, but it is from one episode. It functions right. It feels good. It's got some metal in it. It works for a low price point. I mean, I think it was like $55 or something like that. Maybe $60. I can't remember the price on Show Z. I got to look that up. But I know it was significantly cheaper at Show Z than it was everywhere else. So really was a good deal. But looking at this Skateboard Gorilla, I love the blue metallic paint. And as I've mentioned, I'm not really a huge Beast Wars fan, but I do like the Beast Wars Transmetals the most, because to me the Transmetals feel more like they're closer to the G1, like they make sense in the universe a little bit more. So I might get this guy. Now, for my reason why I feel like a lot of third-party companies are dropping out of the race or losing interest, and it's a big fat F word with way more than 4 letters, and it's Fans Toys. Here's the thing. Fans Toys puts out a premium product. It looks amazing in both modes. Their figures, very few of them disappoint. They put out more figures than anyone else, and it's hard to keep up with them. It's really hard to beat them. I know there's people out there that love the Bad Cube version of Brawn, but I have to admit, I know Fans Toys is going to beat Brawn, well, the Bad Cube Brawn, for me. I got rid of my Bad Cube Brawn as soon as I saw Hunk announced, because I knew I wouldn't be able to get rid of it once Hunk's released. And so that was sort of my plan there. I did keep Outback, though, because one, representation of the mold for comparisons and stuff. But I know that it's tough. It's tough to keep up with what Fans Toys is doing. So even some of the other old-timers like X-Transbots, it's obviously they're competing with Fans Toys. They're trying to measure up to Fans Toys and beat Fans Toys. They all want to be the best. And I think that's why their Springer's taken so long to come out. They want their Springer to be better than Fans Toys Springer. Of course, if you're going to be last, you have to be best. And I have a lot of hope for this X-Transbot Springer. And look at Make Toys. Make Toys is reissuing their Downbeat right before Fans Toys puts theirs out. Well, right before. Fans Toys probably has 2 years till theirs comes out. But look at it. They're getting everything they can before Fans Toys puts their version out, which is smart business. It's good business. And by the way, Makes Toys Downbeat is not bad. So let me know what you think about all the new companies, the old companies that are dropping out or slowing way down, and what other new companies are on the horizon that are catching your eye that you think are going to be great. Leave it in the comments below, like, subscribe, and Tidarium Hanger out.